Are you worried about your Chiefs?
First, can I say something?
Yeah.
What a weird feeling today is. Like, I kind of forgot what this was like.
Oh, it's been a long time, yeah.
Like, there was a football
It's been
game.
a long time.
My team played in it.
Yeah.
They kept score. At the end of it, they didn't have the most points, and my guys were sad. Like, that's
almost like a mistake.
I mean, I looked it up. Like, the best teams in the league, this happens to all the time. Like, since this last happened to the Chiefs, the Lions, who I think we're going to talk about as the greatest team ever, it's happened to them 3 times.
Well,
since
last year.
the last happened to the Chiefs, it's happened to the Ravens 6 times. It's happened to the Niners 8 times. I don't know how those fans deal with it. I was verklempt for at least 15, 20 minutes yesterday, and then I steadied myself. Because the wise words of Tony Romo rang true in my ears, which was, it wouldn't have been good to lock everything up before Thanksgiving and play 2 months of meaningless football. Now, it was sad. I'm not going to, and I understand the audience, some of the audience takes great schadenfreude in my pain, but so I'm not going to deny, I was sad. All the streaks are dead. The undefeated season's dead. The winning streak is dead. The not allowing 28 points, which had gone on 30 games, that's dead. The won 9 straight games when trailing at halftime, that's dead. The haven't lost by more than 1 score, that streak is dead. It was just the 5th time in Mahomes' 125 or 123 game, whatever, his career. All those are dead, and it happened to truly the only team, in my opinion, even close to the Chiefs' level in their conference, so it means a little bit more. But I'm not worried in the least bit, because I do think, A, Brew, that will be the worst the defense plays all year, and B, I do think that the best player on the team and the best player in the league and the guy that you consider the most talented player, at the very least, we've ever seen, needs to clean some things up that would be hard to clean up if you just keep winning every week. Right. And so there's an air of, I don't want to say complacency, but almost like, we just always win either way. And so Patrick needs to play better. The defense needs to step up. The left tackle position's a concern. I think they're going to call Donovan Smith this week, who was their left tackle last couple of years, and he's available. And the cornerback 2 position is a concern because of the injuries. But am I worried? Do I question whether or not they're still the best team in the league? I'm not. And do I think there is a potential benefit to not having the specter of undefeated hanging over them, and we locked up the 1 seed before Thanksgiving? I do think there are those.
I agree with Nick and Mahomes. Mahomes essentially said some similar stuff to you, like, hopefully this will be a good thing for us. I'm looking at, if they had won this game, and I think I was talking about Buffalo. It wouldn't be bad if Buffalo lost. But if the Chiefs had won this game, that undefeated season now gets bigger and bigger and bigger. Every win they would have had, even if they play Carolina next week, it would have just become, okay, now the talk of going 17-0 would just get louder and louder and louder. And obviously the Super Bowl is the main thing you want. But that would have become something in and of itself, just more pressure. Sure. So I know they didn't want to lose, but you don't have to deal with that. And then to your point, I agree. Like, nothing sends a wake up call like a loss. And when you keep winning, when you're not really playing well or what looks like you're playing well, that can be detrimental. But I will say this, Nick, I was surprised. I thought Buffalo was more physical than the Chiefs yesterday. And I thought they pushed them around. And that's surprising because I have not seen a team, even Baltimore, which we thought was the most physical team in the league last year, could not push the Chiefs around. I thought Buffalo did that. And obviously this is just one play, but this really was emblematic of, you don't see Chiefs defenders getting trucked like that.
But they couldn't run on us. Josh ran, this was their longest non-Josh Allen run.
But he ran somebody over. Like I said, you just don't generally see that with the Chiefs. And then I can show you some numbers that showed how physically dominant Buffalo was. I want you to leave this up.
No question.
Time of possession. Look at that. The Chiefs are 5th in the league in time of possession. Buffalo dominated the time of possession. That's the fewest minutes the Chiefs have had the ball all season. The 2 sacks for Buffalo, they pressured Mahomes pretty well.
Yeah.
They pressured him into those 2 interceptions, and then they, a few QB hits. No sacks for the Chiefs. Only twice in the last 2.5 years have the Chiefs not gotten a sack in the game.
And they weren't.
Both of them against Buffalo.
And right. And
this was one, and the other one was like the playoffs in 2023. And then you see they outgained by over 100 yards, Buffalo. And then 60% conversion rate on their third downs.
And they were third and longs.
Yes.
They was 3rd and 7, 3rd and 9,
yes.
3rd and 10. That
and,
part,
and
yes.
the Chiefs, they usually give up about 40%. So, but I don't think I'm not going to say it's emblematic of, like they're just a tougher team. But yesterday, I think it's emblematic of how big the game was for the Bills. And you always talk about it. There was some truth yesterday. That was, I'm not going to say their Super Bowl, because obviously they want to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
But they clearly, as much as Kansas City wanted the win, it clearly meant more to Buffalo. And I think it showed in the way it was played.
So this is the 10th game for Mahomes. At what point are we going to be like, I'm a little bit stressed about having the worst passing yards per game in his career, worst yards per pass. The TD to interception ratio is not great. Passer rating is the worst of his career. Kelsey had 2 catches for 8 yards. DeAndre, I think, had 3 catches for 20-something yards. So do you think, I don't know if it's just I understand, like, we don't want to say it's complacent because that doesn't really vibe. But I still think he's excellent. So I'm having a hard time figuring out what's going on.
So there's 2 reasons that I just simply, and maybe it'll annoy the audience, maybe, and like, I guess I do care, but I'm not going to change my opinion. 2 reasons why the answer is I'll never be worried. One is that every single thing you just showed applied last year. Worst. Yeah. And then he had, in my opinion, his finest start to finish postseason of his career. So I do think there is that switch. And I also think you even see it within games.
No, but it's
when
weird.
Brew, the best drive of the game for the Chiefs by a mile was down 9 when the Bills scored at the start of the 4th.
Yep.
Down 9, and it's like, if we don't get points, the game's over, and we probably have to have a touchdown. And it was bang, 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 right down the field.
I felt the same way. It was like,
right.
It looked like they flipped the switch.
Right, which speaks to and I know people don't like me to say this. They are not playing the same game as everyone else early in games. I don't think Patrick's trying to throw interceptions, obviously. I'm not saying any of that. But they are... They clearly, one of the objectives of this game was, what will it look like if Xavier Worthy is our number 1 target? So we're going to work on that within a game. And it worked some.
He played well.
He played well. Mahomes missed him. That was on both of them, to be fair. He should have got his feet in. He also didn't have to be near the sidelines. Mahomes said it. He threw it in the wrong place. Like, that's both of them. I will never worry about Patrick Mahomes in the regular season until I see him not be the best player in the league by a mile come the postseason.
Now,
I just
look,
won't.
What they did last year when they looked so bad in the regular season, second half, to win the Super Bowl, they have that right now. They get the benefit of the doubt. If they had not won it last year,
it'd be different.
Okay.
It'd be different.
Because they'd have 2.
Right, but still,
last year was the first year was like, they don't look like a good team.
I know,
and then
but
they won the
can I just
Super Bowl.
put one caveat and we can move on? They were losing games last year. Kadarius Toney was dropping the ball. We had the lateral that got called back. The Packers
but they're not. But they were losing.
I know, but these are not. This is Mahomes not being Mahomes. This isn't balls bouncing off Kadarius Toney's hand.
I think honestly and I also think it's a little revisionist history. The Raiders game, which was the last game they lost prior to this, that wasn't tipped passes. That was back-to-back Mahomes fumble and pick 6.
Yeah,
like it was.
Maybe I'm just.
But a lot of it was the drop.
Of course, no. It was all of the above, but. Last year, I think the offense and Patrick were playing far worse than they're playing this year, and they were losing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if they lose 3 of the next 4, then it's more like last year. But even then, they then had the hardest path in the history of the AFC playoffs and won the Super Bowl. So, just not worried.
Bills rolling, now 9-2. Even with Keon Coleman, my guy, watching from the sidelines. The team puts up 30 points. Most any team has put on the Chiefs since the Eagles Super Bowl. Okay, Brew, are you ready to believe the Bills are real contenders? And as a bonus question, do you like that from Josh?
I was going to say, I love Josh's demeanor. I said it last week when he basically said the same thing about going in. Like, and you know it means something, obviously, but he's saying the right thing. And he also knows we've beaten them before. They blew him out, in 2021, was it?
Yeah.
And in the regular season, obviously lost in the 13-second game. So, yeah, it would be hating to say they're not contenders right now. And I will admit, when they got Amari, remember, I did say, okay, I'm glad to see that they seem to be trying to win this year. And I thought they were close, but I didn't fully give them contender status. But now, they're playing well. I still don't, I'm not saying I think they're going to win the AFC, but legit contender, the Chiefs, the Bills, and the Steelers, even though my picks are Ravens, but those have been the three most impressive teams in the AFC. So I have to say they're a contender. Yeah. Look, they're like kind of a lot of no names and Josh Allen. I mean, he is getting it done. Now, these guys might emerge as something, but and remember, they didn't even have your boy Keon Coleman yesterday. Amari Cooper's taking them to a different level, and you saw it yesterday with the 2 catches. He hadn't played the last few games, so I was like, okay, we'll see what he does when he gets here. But the defense, they lost some big names, and that's why I was down on them, because it wasn't just Stephon Diggs. It was Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer and Matt Milano's out. I know they were older, but they were names. They were guys that were there when they were 13-3 and a good team. So, but a lot of these guys are making names for themselves. But it's the Josh Allen show, and he by himself, to some degree, has made them a contender.
Yeah, listen, they have the best offensive line of Josh's career, the best defensive line of Josh's career, and Josh is playing the best football of his career. Like, they are, in my eyes, a clear-cut top 3 team in the NFL. I think they're the second best team in football. And I think it goes, in my own personal power rankings, not speaking for the committee, just Nick Wright, would go Chiefs, Bills, Lions. Like, that's how I would have it right now with the Steelers, right in that top of that next group of teams. And the difference is Josh Allen is the most effective running quarterback ever. He just is. Like, he is, Josh Allen's scrambles are more effective and more debilitating in crucial moments than any quarterback running play ever. And he won the game with it. He picked up multiple critical third downs with it. Another reason that they were so effective in this game on 3rd and long was because the Chiefs were betwixt and between of, do we have to dedicate someone do we have to change our rushing attack because of Josh's legs? I'm just, again, my fear can't lie. And I am so much more worried when Josh Allen takes off and runs than any other quarterback I play against. And that's not,
I would argue and you said it, your fear that I play against the Chiefs, he's clearly better than Lamar against the Chiefs. But I don't know. I would differ with you on saying he's the most effective running quarterback ever, because Lamar is just. And Lamar ran for 122 against the Chiefs.
Right, but I'm kind of separating in my head designed quarterback runs and scrambles. So designed quarterback runs, Cam, Vic, Lamar are all better than him. You know what I mean? Like, the design of this play is for the quarterback to take off and run. But this is a passing play that the quarterback flips to a run. Mahomes does it as effectively as anyone I've ever seen, but it's very sparingly.
Right.
Yep.
For Josh, it's a huge part of the game plan. And so I don't know what box the Bills don't check as far as top-tier contender. They check every box to me, and I want to give them credit. One of my favorite moments of the game was right after my least favorite moment of the game, which was the Mahomes pick to end the game. The game was probably over anyway. They're down 9 with a minute left. But did you guys see what Travis Kelce did? Because I wanted to do something similar, which was Travis Kelce. Can we roll the tape, Dust? Travis Kelce gave them applause because it was like, well done. And any team that does what the Bills have done 4 times deserves a round of applause, and some would call it dynastic. I mean, I have to give credit where it's due. That's 4 straight. For the first team to ever lose 4 straight Super Bowls, they're also the first team ever to win 4 straight Super Bowls. 4 years in a row, the team from upstate New York or Western New York has won its Super Bowl. And Kelsey thought it deserved applause, and so do I. And listen, I'm the Bills guy on the show this year.
You are. It's a weird thing.
And that's why I want to give them
you're
credit.
Just lifting them up so you can smash
but
them
that's
when
what you guys
fall.
said during Tears. But now
Yeah,
do you
and we
think,
were true. We were right.
Or was the committee right? That team's awesome. I mean, Brew,
awesome.
you didn't.
We'll see. I mean, my team beat them by 25. I'm just saying, styles make fights. Not only in boxing and basketball, but in football too.
But you
We're
also
seeing
just said yourself that right now they look
they
like
look-
a top
they
2
look
team in the
good.
AFC.
They look good.
I mean, they look great.
Bye 49ers, at the Rams, at the Lions.
Well, yeah, next 3 are tough.
Tricky. Meanwhile, Josh broke the game open in what people are calling the play of the year.
all things
26-yard run.
considered, probably.
Really? Okay.
I mean, the Hail Mary was big, but
Jaden's throw early against Cincinnati.
I'm taking
in
that
the 4th quarter.
This was good, though.
But this is for the
It's just
stakes
'cause
of
it's
it.
the
Because of the
Chiefs, yeah.
stakes of it,
They
it's
run
pretty damn
defeated,
big.
yeah.
Here's the MVP odds. Josh, Lamar, Jared Goff, he's done, nothing except just throw touchdowns and play perfectly.
This week. Last week he threw 5 interceptions, which probably hurts him.
Yeah, but through the last 7 games, averaging less than 1 interception. Hurts, and then Mahomes. Mahomes really fell back there.
Yeah.
Is it fair to call Allen the best QB in the NFL right now?
look, Mahomes is the best. All right, period. He's having a down year. Certainly, Josh is having a better year. And I actually agree. I mean, I'll do my ballot at some point this week. But I agree with Josh. Like I said, he's kind of a one-man show. He doesn't have Derrick Henry like Lamar does.
Correct.
And so Josh is phenomenal. I don't have no problem with those odds. But for me to, like I said, he's having a better season. And a lot of quarterbacks are having a better season than Mahomes, but that doesn't mean they're better. For Josh Allen, I think to surpass Mahomes in our minds, in most people's minds, I think, because I know some people are throwing that out there, but most people's minds, pass Mahomes as the best quarterback in the game, they'd have to win the Super Bowl. Well, I think they have to win this Super Bowl, but just that's not it. Mahomes has 3. They have to win the Super Bowl, and then like for the first, say, half of next year, both of them play like they are this year. So Josh continues to play great, and Mahomes continues to be like, where's the real Patrick Mahomes? Then I think at that point, people be like, something's wrong. Mahomes not himself, and Josh Allen is just balling and has a ring.
So listen, I think that different conversation for where they are in the historical pantheon, right? Because even if everything you laid out just happened, if Josh doesn't become the second or third greatest quarterback of all time. This is a cycle we have every single year. It usually goes like this. In September or October, people say Josh is better than Patrick. In November or December, people say either Burrow or Lamar is better than Patrick. And then in January and February, everyone feels like idiots. This year, it went in reverse. September, October, Lamar was better than Patrick. Yeah. Now we're in November, it's Josh better than Patrick. And in January, February, everyone will feel like idiots. In order for someone to be able to have the opinion that Josh Allen is the best quarterback in the NFL right now, the following has to happen. Josh has to win the quarterback triple crown. He has to win league MVP this year. He has to beat Patrick in the playoffs, and they have to win the Super Bowl. If those 3 things happen, then going into next season, if people say he's the best quarterback in the league, you have to say it's at least a fair opinion. It's not an invalid opinion.
Right.
If he was better in the year, played him in the playoffs and won, and finished it off with a championship, then the belt has at least temporarily transferred to him.
I buy that.
And I agree with what Brew was saying. There are a lot of quarterbacks right now playing better than Patrick. None of them are better than Patrick, and it's not a viable opinion to say they're better than him. But if Josh does everything one can do in a season, that means beat Patrick and outplayed him twice, wins the Super Bowl, wins league MVP, and Bills fans want to say in 2025, we have the best quarterback in football.
That's fair.
That's
Remember,
fine. Yeah.
before at 12:58 p.m. Eastern time yesterday, we thought everybody was saying Lamar was the best.
I know, which is why it's such a shame that this is the case. Unbeatable, unstoppable till it matters.
Oh, God.
It's just tough.
Taking shots.
I mean, it's just tough.
I guess it didn't matter against Buffalo.
You know what,
or
Brew?
Cincinnati.
That game has
None
been
of those
crazy.
games matter.
Brew,
that didn't matter.
No, turns out
Houston
it
last
didn't.
year in the playoffs.
It's exactly,
matter.
nope.
Stop
Turns
it.
out
Stop
it didn't.
it. Stop
You're
it.
actually correct. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get more from the show and to check out clips from other shows on FS1.